Hey, so I just want to say two things real quick. I'm going to insert this. One, I am reading this stuff out for context because this whole conversation is what led to the inspiration of the new series that I'm going to do when I come back from my break. The second thing is the break that I'm on is making, for one, 1 hour long videos, and two, heavily edited 1 hour long videos. I'm giving myself a break. I'm being more quote unquote lazy. Even if the video's 30 minutes like this one's going to be, it doesn't take nearly as much time as the other stuff that I've been doing because there's way less effort put in. I'm recording less and all that other stuff. It's a whole explanation I don't feel like getting into, or else this will be an hour long. So just keep in mind that I am on a break and this content is going to be shorter, but I do have a few more videos I want to do about this subject, about this topic and all the dissecting and stuff, and some of the harassment that happened to me a few years ago. Just some interesting things I've been like theorizing on and thinking about. So I'm still going to be doing some Kurena's replies centered around that. Just to give you a quick update, the hashtag WatchTimeViewers has been shared like 100 times or so apparently. I'm not sure how accurate these lists are, but it actually popped up on the little hashtag list. So please keep using the hashtag because anyone could see it at any time. Use it in a tweet, use it in a comment, use it in the description of your videos, use it anywhere you can so that someone can click on it and then maybe see one of my videos and then see that this is a thing that's actually happening that's affecting people. You can also use the hashtag WatchTime or watch. Even watching if you need to, like use any of those on the list as well, because then if someone clicks on it, because again, they're going to see my videos popping up through there as those hashtags get spread around too. This is all that I can do. If you have any suggestions, let me know. If any of you know any like streams or like a Reddit or something that you could share this problem to, or some sort of YouTuber, even if they're small, who might care about this subject, share it with them, because there's a ton of you guys who are being harassed and you don't have a voice. It's the same way how people were trying to share my stuff around when they had the wrong idea and they were trying to like expose me. Use those avenues to share this around and help people and save lives. Even if people misunderstand it and come and attack me, I can take it. So please do that. Hey everyone. So I just want to start off by saying that you guys have seriously helped me to self-reflect here, and I want to kind of go through that and give you an example of what I mean, because honestly, I was so trapped when all of this happened. I didn't even know how trapped I was. And the thing that started to make me realize what was happening to me, it all started with teaching trends. But I didn't see it at the time. I didn't see how what she was saying to me in my comment sections was helping me. You can go back to every single video and read her long comments. They were so detailed and empathetic. But even though she was the start, the thing that snapped me out of it was Moose. The fact that he was so nice and so understanding, despite how hurt he was. Like, he was hurt really badly, and I felt awful about it because I didn't know that what I was doing was that hurtful to someone. Like, he was losing his mind going across the internet looking for like justice, you know, for how wrong he felt he was treated. And it wasn't even a personal attack on him. I was literally trying to get rid of stalkers and he had no idea. So me seeing how that misunderstanding could cause so many problems, and then we were able to talk it out, gave me hope for people. I'm like, wow, you really can talk to someone from a different walk of life and still appreciate the person even when you get the worst impression of them. The fact that me and him were able to be on good terms means that you can literally build a bridge with a person even after they completely write you off. It's just such a powerful thing that gave me more hope given what I've been through, because I really started to just give up on everybody. Anybody would. They control your whole world. But the point is, when I look back at teaching trends, like your experience, what you went through, you were harassed by a 1 million+ sub channel. And, you know, I wasn't there for that incident. Of course, I didn't see the stuff unfold, but just what you told me, that channel harassed you. I'm only getting harassed by a channel that has 77,000 subs. Like, and that shit was taking a toll on me because I was already being harassed by a cyber stalker. So that weird mix is kind of the equivalent of what you were going through, because you were literally saying to me that you didn't want to devalue my experience, and I'm saying I don't want to devalue yours. Our experiences are so different, but because of how different they are, they almost feel the same. It's not about the numbers. It's not about the quantity. It was about the quality in its own toxic way. The quality of the experience was so similar because you were on an island. You told me you felt like you were on an island. You were all alone. And I'll get into that in a minute because I'm going to read out our live chat for a reason. But the fact that you had the confidence and the courage and strength to publicly tell everyone what happened to you to relate to me was so important, because I legitimately had imposter syndrome. Again, I was only getting attacked by some of the most fringe supporters of a guy with 77,000 subs, but just having every single notification, just having everybody just tell me I'm manipulative and I'm lying, I'm a snow snowflake and I can't handle it. Like everything that they were telling me 3 years ago, the stalkers, just hearing the same shit again. And then there's somewhat evidence to it, even though it wasn't evidence. They see me deleting comments, so that looked like evidence. I sat there every day. I was just like, is it true? Everyone keeps saying this about me. Is this true? I really am trying to take this stuff in. I'm trying to consider what they're saying. I don't know what else to do. Somebody tell me. And that's when I start telling people, like, just tell me what to do. I don't know. I don't know how to handle this. And nobody gave me an answer, but they kept commenting anyway. Like, I had so much imposter syndrome. I really felt like a fraud. My whole channel, to know that it started with me trying to do the opposite of what they were saying, work with people, share opinions, even if we disagree, even if I'm a little bit offensive, we can still share perspective and grow and change, you know, and adapt. Like, that's where it all started. So to just constantly have that invalidated, like, oh my God, like that shit was so fucking stressful. So to see your comments every fucking time you commented, you were letting me know that the way I felt made sense. So some of the most important things was what I talked about in just the last video I did. You were saying that because of the harassment you received, you know, that kind of harassment, to put in perspective for people, not only was she harassed by someone with 1 million+ subs, which is insane, but she's a teacher. And so she was investigated at her job and she ended up not being able to work for 5 months because of this whole thing. And again, I'm summing it up, but I showed you the screenshot. I'll show it here so that you can see her own words. 5 months. This affected her real life. You know, and then she's getting slandered and attacked in the comments, and she pretty much had to handle the whole thing herself and just keep correcting the record in the comment section. That's why you were so empathetic to the fact that I made so many videos, because you had to sit here and go into your own comment section correcting the record, which is time consuming as fuck. And this happened to you over 5 months, you know? And so with me, this has only happened for like a month, but I've just been correcting things and trying to make up for things and acknowledge things and recognize stuff within myself. Some people, it takes them months, if not years, to recognize that they did something wrong. I'm really doing my best to like go through this process as efficiently as possible, but because I'm not doing everything someone else wants me to do, it's not good enough. I'm literally getting comments from people still, even now, saying that I have antisocial behavior and shit like that, like when they're literally admitting that they're antisocial. So they're projecting their antisocial shit onto me. It's projection. Like, just so the point is, when you have to deal with that kind of harassment by yourself as a small channel, it is time consuming. So of course, yes, I'm going to put out 10 videos on it trying to explain myself, because I completely got slandered. So with all that being said, I'm just going to read through this chat to tell you guys how you inspired me to do something new on my channel that I always wanted to do. I always wanted to talk about like trauma and stuff and cover certain issues on trauma, but I didn't know how to do it. Like, I couldn't put into words what the true purpose was. So you guys helped me to figure it out. So in the live chat, you were saying, yeah, it's crazy, smack my head. They don't realize this is real and affects us for real. And you're talking about how, again, Curtis did not know that what he was doing was affecting small channels. It's not about the specific insults. It's the fact that he said things that are intentionally insulting are just jokes. And if you get offended by it, you're a snowflake. That was the first thing that made me just over his whole ass video. That's when you heard me say like, okay. And I paused because I was ready at that point. I was ready to go. But I still kept listening. I was still dead inside, but then he kept saying it. Like, he kept referring to it. I'm like, you already said that, like, okay. And then he kept talking about it. I just couldn't take it. And so it started to just bring back memories of all the stuff that I was told from the cyber stalkers. And then that's when I started to get really triggered. And then that's when I told you guys that I was getting attacked, because it literally triggered me hearing him say it over and over again as if that was an okay thing to say. If he had just said it once, none of this would have happened. I would have just let it go. But to hear him just double and triple down on it, I was so upset. And so that's why you're saying, yeah, it's crazy. They don't realize this is real, because he said the internet isn't real life and it affects us for real. The isolation is stifling, and people don't get that. You don't know what it feels like to be forced into isolation. That fucks with your mind, and it really does mess up your delivery in a video. Some of y'all are binge watching my videos. If you go to any video before this point, you will see a lot of aggression, a lot of fucking aggression. Like, I can't even describe it. Even the more tame videos I have, I was so fucking aggressive. But if you look at every video after that, aside from, you know, Curtis, of course, part 1, I'm way more tame. Even all the other parts that I put out where I'm snapping, I snapped in like a bunch of these videos. It is not the same as before I left. And it's because I spent 2 years not being harassed by stalkers every single day. So I literally chilled out. Like, that validated me so much. You talking about the isolation and stuff, because when I listened to my old content versus when I came back, I'm like, it really was because of these stalkers that I was losing my mind in my videos. I don't normally talk like that. And I'm not fully fixed. I'm not fully healed. It takes more than 2 years to recover from that kind of harassment. It wasn't even 2 whole years. And it literally takes 2 years to recover from burnout. If I can find some evidence of that, I'll show you on the screen right now. But it takes at least 2 years to recover from burnout. So I didn't even fully recover, but I chilled out a lot since I've been back because I wasn't getting harassed until they came in under part 1. And then that's when I started losing my mind again. You said, I was isolated by coworkers, which is awful for you to go to work every single day. You were saying how they didn't want to eat lunch with you. You know, everybody was judging you, giving you the side eye for something you didn't even do. The person who attacked you was the scammer, was the liar or whatever. But everyone just assumed that because that person had over 1 million plus subs, they're like, well, why would that person be a phony? It obviously has to be you because people wouldn't subscribe to somebody who's full of shit, would they? I'm like, is this your first day on the internet, bitch? Are you out of your mind? How old are you? Like, what? But tons of people thought that about you. What people don't understand is if you're a small channel putting in a ton of work, you're probably more authentic than most other people on YouTube because you're literally prioritizing the effort and the work as well as your integrity over the clout. That's why I don't normally do videos on really big like drama issues. I only do it every now and then because I'm prioritizing integrity and prioritizing what I care about over the actual clout chasing of YouTube. When I was investigated because of YouTube, everyone stopped talking to me, looking at me, or associate with me. Glad to have met all of you. Had not been for your video, I wouldn't still be on YouTube. So we're gonna talk about it later in this, but I just wanna say here, we all started to bond over this because a lot of you guys are victims of harassment online and cyberstalking. We're gonna talk about it later, but we all trauma bonded basically. And it made me realize that that's the avenue that I wanna talk about this stuff with. One of you guys were saying that people need to normalize talking about trauma because people can't handle it, right? And so I think that through the avenue of bonding, through reaching a handout to other people with your own experience, that's one of the better ways to discuss trauma. Because I hate trigger warnings, honestly, because there are going to be times where you literally cannot avoid your trigger. So this is, again, short-term versus long-term thinking. In the short term, a trigger warning seems like a great idea. In the long term, if you're always getting warned when a trigger comes, then when you actually have to deal with it, you have no resilience built up. You're supposed to be exposed to it when you're not ready for it so that you can be ready for it when you have no choice but to face it, where you can't run. It's a whole thing. So the point is, I want to start talking about my own trauma, the stuff that I went through, because there's a ton of people who have gone through similar things or worse, or even not as bad, but they can't handle it. And through me talking about it, it helps people to feel more understood because you made me feel so understood. Like, I just want to give that back to people because I really did feel like I was out of my mind and that nobody would ever believe me. And I felt like I was just a lie, that I was some sort of a fraud, that I was just making up excuses, or that people were going to say, you're just trying to give yourself a free pass for how you behave. I'm not. You have every right to criticize my old videos. You have every single right, but you do not have the right to hold that to me as if that's who I am right now, because I'm not. Ever since I came back, I haven't acted like that. It really was because of the cyber stalking. It's a gray area. You have the right to criticize me, but you don't have the right to defame my character over it. Everything that I said was not wrong either. A lot of things I said weren't wrong back then. It's just the delivery was fucking unhinged. So I just want to give this example of how I'll explain it as I read it. So you said, I'm not sure Curtis wants / or maybe knows how to take anything in but drama and views. The unfortunate part is that people don't see the bad side of it or the effect like trolls and stalking IRL. You were also telling people publicly how you were, honestly, when you first saw what he did, you were willing to just cuss him out and move on. Like, you were ready to cuss him out and just write him off and move on. And people don't get why, like his fans don't get why because they're in a bubble. But the reason why you feel this way is because he accidentally did Darvo behavior. It wasn't on purpose, and I proved that to everybody. Like, he did not do it on purpose, but he twisted everything that I stood for against me and then even flipped the roles of the victim and the abuser. He literally accused me of being in association with a cyberstalker as I'm being cyberstalked, but he didn't know I was being cyberstalked. So he accidentally did one of the most disgusting things you could do to another person, all because I called him a fucking idiot. Like, that's a horrible thing to have done. I did not deserve that. And so people who don't understand what he did and why think that he's a monster. I mean it wholeheartedly when I say I've had people tell me that they're literally afraid to go outside because they're afraid to encounter people like him. Getting messages like that broke my heart. I'm like, but he's not the person you think he is. He's not this scary person. He's really not someone you need to be afraid of. I don't mean it in a passive aggressive way because they're gonna literally twist everything I say. I'm like, he's really not that scary. Like, he really didn't do anything that malicious, I swear. He had no idea, so he couldn't have done it on purpose. It couldn't actually be Darvo behavior. And so that's why I felt kind of responsible. I feel like I have to take some responsibility because how I treated him gave him that adverse reaction. I still think he needed to feel it because anybody who says insults are just jokes, the internet internet isn't real and you're a snowflake if you get offended. Like, if you feel that way, that means that you literally, the reaction you had with me and the fact that you're gone right now, that's how you treat other people in your content. And you need to know how it feels so that you think twice when you do it again in the future. Yeah, I still stand by that. However, I do feel bad that I had that much of an effect on him. Just like with Moose, I feel bad about it. So I'm like, since your reaction is partially due to how I treated you, partially due to my poorly thought out actions, I'm going to speak up for you, because I honestly, based off of your actions and how you delivered your response to me, I don't feel like he's able to explain it himself. So my point is, you wanted to cuss him out at first, just like everybody did. I'm telling you, I got so many messages, but because of what I'm saying, you've come from a place of empathy towards him, even in this chat. So here I'm saying, I think he can take in more than just drama, but I think he isn't, because he can't accept what he did. And I said denial is a powerful thing, because again, I really think that he has to convince himself that this has nothing to do with what happened to me 3 years ago, because the minute he has to accept that it does, he has to accept that he did Darvo behavior. Even though it was by accident, he did something really, really horrible to a small channel. That's a hard thing for a person to accept. Again, some people, it takes them years to accept something that they did that's bad. They literally have to remove themselves for years. That's how awful it is. So that's why it's like, if he can overcome this and understand what he did, like if he could do it soon, that would be a really big thing. But that's why I'm not going to come at him like, how did you? I'm trying to give him the best avenue possible to recognize it. He accidentally compared me to a cyber stalker. He has to accept that before he could ever change. And you even said, oh, I see, Kurena. Because again, you are coming from, the perspective of, you went in not knowing his side of it. I constantly talk about trying to understand someone else's perspective. So that's like my wheelhouse. I don't expect for everybody to always come from that, perspective. But you're just like, oh, I see, Kurena. Because again, this is bigger than both of us. That's why I keep talking about it. Like, we can literally save lives together, and we could change YouTube for the better. No YouTuber would have to be afraid of their commenters. It's not just the watch time though. If me and him could work on this together, I would literally come up with a list of things that YouTube needs to change, and I would push that with him. And the fact that me and him would be on good terms would be a story worth telling on YouTube, that it would actually help to carry the watch time viewer thing if we could do this, because this would be like a first in YouTube history. So that's why I'm just saying it's bigger than just the watch time. We could come up with a list of ways to hold commenters accountable, and then YouTube would no longer be the #1 website with the worst comment section, because right now it is. It's a serious fucking problem, and it's because they don't tell you, but they enable cyberstalking. It says it's hard to understand someone's point of view when you don't get to hear it from him without the audience. It's a lot to filter through. That's exactly my point as to why you said you felt like he couldn't change. It's because when you hear that audience, you hear how intolerable his fucking audience is. They were going crazy. Y'all saw it. So it's hard for you to see him for the complex human that he is, which is why I have continuously humanized him. And I also want to say, his audience hears everything that I say through the lens of me being Blair's sister, thanks to him. So like, what's happening is this complicated thing where I got to defend myself and speak up for him at the same time. That fucking tightrope, y'all literally don't understand how hard that is. And I'm doing it out the kindness of my own heart. On one hand, everybody's like, you're making it up. People don't actually feel this way about him. You're just saying that they do because you want people to think this about him. That's a really toxic thing. What's wrong with you? Like, you're this sick, manipulative narcissist. Like, they keep saying that stuff to me, right? So then I'm like, well, let me show you screenshots to show you, yes, they're literally saying this. And they're like, well, you showing screenshots is like you trying to make people think that stuff about him. You shouldn't be showing it if you really want to. And it's just like, regardless of what the fuck y'all saying, if you actually look at my comment section, all those people who came over to me heard what I said and was like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, we'll give him a chance. So it literally doesn't matter what you're saying. I understand your perspective. I understand that you think by me showing this stuff, it makes him look worse and worse and worse. It does not though. You're literally projecting how you would be acting if you were me. But people know where I'm coming from, and that's why they're changing their minds on him. But you're not gonna keep accusing me of doing stuff I'm not doing, and then I don't show evidence otherwise. So you said it's hard to understand someone's point of view when you don't get to hear it from without the audience. It's a lot of filter though. Right, so if they choose to misinterpret it, that's on them, and we'll straighten them out. Yeah, I'm still working on that, you guys. Like, honestly, until I actually see another flood of comments and y'all defend me, I still have the anxiety of, are y'all really gonna stick around? Like, are y'all gonna be up in my YouTube shorts defending me? Are y'all gonna be up in my comment sections defending me? Like, it's no offense, but I'm used to standing on my own. It's hard to lean on somebody because you're scared to be let go and fall. But yeah, I said, but the criticism, whatever happened to constructive, yeah, because y'all not giving me no constructive criticism. It says, yes, fucking wonder what happened to it too. They tend to miss the constructive bit. For real. You said you could have cursed everyone out and took names later, but you didn't do that. I did tell people to fuck off in part 2, and then I clarified, but I know what she means. She's saying that I literally could have cussed them out and just left it there. That's what she was saying. I know because me and her have been talking. She said, you truly want to find out why people continue to do this and why creators feel like they have to be this way to make it on YouTube. And yes, it's so true. Like, you get me. Again, that healed me from the imposter syndrome. I gotta hurry this up because this video is getting long. I'm trying to do short content. It's hard to do short content, you guys. It says, thank you, Jordan. Someone just did that to me earlier. So don't forget to check out these comment sections, even though the vids are old. Like I said, somebody literally just got done saying that I have antisocial behavior. You are antisocial and people are gonna attack you for it. It's like, well, then why not? Like, they're like, you can't own up to anything. You can't. Oh my God. Anyway, yes, I do this because I want resolutions. And if there is a reason, let's talk about it. Yes, it's like, let's talk about it if you actually have a reason to be the way that you are. Because I'll talk about my reasons for being who I am. It's hard to defend yourself and have a conversation when you are fighting an argument you didn't even know you were in until after the fact. I never thought it looked that way to me because I'm not his fan. This was you coming from a place of empathy towards Curtis because, again, at first, with his fan base being as toxic as they were, because they didn't hear me out, they literally just went off of what he said, you were writing him off in response. And so here you're thinking about what I just said to you and you're like, well, it can be hard to respond to something when you didn't even know you're in the argument. Like, he was blindsided. He really had no idea. That I feel so bad. Like, I swear to God, I don't know how this is going to come across, but like, the reason why I said I'm sorry for how I affected him, but I still think he needed to hear it, is because I was looking at him in his original video and he had this light in his eyes. Like, he literally had a light. If you go back and watch it, he was honestly very happy. And like, he was so happy. I mean this wholeheartedly. He was so happy that if he was a woman, he'd be pregnant. Like, he looked like he was glowing. Like, and then when he did his response to me, the light was just gone. Like, I felt so horrible about it. I really felt horrible. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm saying like, oh my God, I feel so awful. It's a thing I do. Sometimes I giggle when things are bad. But yeah, I felt so awful because the light was just gone. Oh my God, like I can't get over it. So he was blindsided and he just didn't know how to react. And so that's why I am partially responsible for his actions. And I even talked about it in part 1, and or was definitely for sure in response to Adam, but you are partially responsible for other people's actions. This whole neutral thing where you think that everybody's just responsible for themselves is not true. I am partially responsible for how he reacted, and for that I am sorry. But you had to pick people's brain as to why we are getting stalked and ignored. Yeah, I did. Like, you guys literally opened my eyes to all this. That's why I kept doing these updates, because I literally didn't even know it was cyber stalking. I still didn't relate stalker and cyber stalker together. Like, I really was just unpacking all this live. Like, I mean what I say when I said you guys were literally watching live 2 people each having a psychotic break. But you were also watching live 2 people seriously trauma bonding, along with a whole community of people trauma bonding. But me and Teaching Trends, you watching live, she was literally willing to give up on YouTube, period. That she just saw everybody as the same until she came to me. She was mad at me. She was literally mad at my thumbnail. And she just thought that I didn't have the right to have that thumbnail. But then she thought about it, and she thought about how it attracted her to the video in the first place and how she agreed with what I had to say in the video. So she gave me a chance and watched a few of my videos. And then she was like, this thumbnail is great. The fuck? And changed her mind. And the rest was history. And now we sisters. And with that, I just want to cut in and say that you guys need to subscribe to Teaching Trends. Like, I'm way smaller of a channel than her. She has like 22k subs, I think. As you know, I only have 5k. But for those of you who aren't subscribed to her, she does teach you things about like the algorithm and YouTube and other stuff as well. She just did this like interesting deep dive about the YouTube face, that shocked face that everyone uses in their thumbnails. So my point is, go and support her because she's literally a harmless channel. Like, I can't believe that this happened to her when she's so freaking harmless. It's ridiculous. So please subscribe to her. So I just wanted to tell you guys to also check out Christopher Tom's channel, because back when he commented on my channel, these stalkers just wanted everyone to write me off. They wanted me isolated and they didn't want me to upload anymore. And so I started to kind of internalize some of those things and just believe you are hated, and the only way for you to get through this is to be hated. So I kind of just gave up on everybody. And when he finally commented under one of my videos, I almost wrote him off just because he disagreed with me in his comment. I was like, here comes another person who's just gonna turn on you. But because he was so constructive with what he said, I commented rationally. I treated him like he was a person. And I checked out his channel, and then I saw that he treated me like I'm a person. He used my clips in his video. He shouted me out. He didn't ask for permission like Turkey Tom claimed to and stole my shit. He just used my clips and gave me credit, and he saw that I said something that was important. He saw that I said something that was rational. He saw me as a rational person with rational opinions. And I was being told constantly, like in this screenshot, just to prove to you, they wanted me to believe that everyone saw me as this irrational idiot who doesn't know how to speak, doesn't know how to talk about anything, and everyone hates. And he saw past, you know, my delivery and all that stuff and appreciated me as a person. And that really like woke me up. So I'm just saying, check out his channel and subscribe to him too, because that comment saved me way more than he ever realized. You never know what people are going through. That's why I did part 5. You never know what people are going through, and you never know how your words like affect people. So please check out his channel and subscribe to him too. She said, but you had to pick people's brains as to why we are getting stalked and ignored. Yes, if you never mess up, you are not genuine. Seriously, like I keep telling you guys, because some of you are telling me how embarrassed you are to do things and say things to people that you regret. It is an opportunity for you to grow and change. And if people can't forgive you for who you were, then that's on them. Not everyone deserves to be forgiven for their actions. So not everyone is going to forgive you when you do something, whether you do deserve the forgiveness or not. You need to do everything you can to grow and change into someone that you're even more proud of than you are now, because you should be supporting yourself. Do not give up on yourself. Everybody else can give up on you, but you have to at least have your own back and be like, you know what? I fucked up, but I'm gonna do what I can to fuck up less. That's what you need to do, and not be ashamed of the fact that you're not perfect, because that's what you have to do in order to change. Be there for yourself and support yourself. Hell, I even mentioned it here. Like, that's a really complicated situation, which is why it took several videos for me to explain it, because I don't know how to put it into words. And how creators add to the hostile YouTube environment, it's very triggering. It was for me, you were right. We trauma bonded, Kurena, but in that trauma, I feel seen by you on YouTube. Thank you. See, here's the thing with trauma bonding. It's mostly associated with relationships. People will stay in a toxic relationship because they're trauma bonding. And I think that it's because they're trauma bonding through the toxic stuff in their relationship. It's like this whole twisted thing. But trauma bonding can actually be a really healthy way to change, because sometimes you can only hear a perspective from someone who's been through the same thing as you, or at least has shown that their experience made them truly understand your experience. To see somebody else go through it and overcome it gives you the inspiration to do so as well. And that's why I'm saying I'm going to start trauma bonding on my channel. When I discuss trauma, it's going to come from that place. People can sit here and tell me, oh, well, you're just like doing this for money. You're just doing it for views. I edit videos. I should get compensation for making videos. I'm not profiting off of my trauma, but for the record, the shit that I've been through, when I finally do talk to you guys about it, yeah, I would deserve some money after going through that. I deserve some fucking money. I told you I dissociate. Dissociation is a very extreme symptom of PTSD, which I've been diagnosed with. I have chronic depression and PTSD. So God forbid I make some money off of the horrible things that happen to me, so you can get the fuck out of my face saying that I'm just doing this to make money off of my fucking life. The shit takes effort. I should be compensated for my effort. I took the ads off of my thank you videos and my apology videos because I did not want you guys to think that that was me coming from a profitable place. But I'm definitely going to have ads on any videos that talk about abuse and trauma, because that's what my whole channel is about. The fuck? So I'm just warning you, people are going to say that in my comments. But yeah, so you inspired me. You made me realize that, yeah, we trauma bonded and it was so healing. Like, this is healing me. It honestly is. It's restoring my faith in people. I didn't realize that I hated people as much as I did. Like, I always say that I hate people, but I never meant it that way. I meant like I just hate people in general because it's so hard having conversations. But I literally completely lost faith and trust in any fucking person online. I didn't even realize it. I was paranoid, if anything. I'm like, I can't trust you. I almost cussed out Christopher Tom, like most harmless fucking guy in the comment section. And when I saw his comment, I was like, oh my God, is it happening again? Holy shit. Anyway, I said, thank you. You are one of the reasons why I woke up to it all. If not for you, I would have still been alone. I either would have had a heart attack, because again, I swear to God, my heart was skipping beats and stopping. So that was a genuine health concern. It's not doing that anymore. It's actually getting better now because I got some more advice from another doctor, finally. Better advice. But I could have had a heart attack, and if not, I was just going to push through it until I was numb to it again, and then they were just going to keep harassing me. Kurena, you did that for me too. You're saying that I also made you feel not alone anymore. That you and me got each other off of that island. It's an island you put yourself on to protect yourself, but it's because you were thrown there in the first place. So when it comes to that island, you get forced on it by your abusers, by your harassers, your cyberstalkers, whoever. They want you isolated. People come along to help you, but after you've had the same abuser putting on a different mask every single day, pretending to help you, and then smack you back on that island, you don't trust anyone anymore. You're like, what's the point? Every single time it's you. In my case, it was mostly one person wearing different masks, but in Teaching Trend's case, it was different people wearing the same behavior. People who she knew all this time all started to become the same, and everyone who she saw online started to act the same too. So when you keep encountering people who are doing the same thing, it's like, it's you. Why am I going to trust anybody? Every single time. So then you just put yourself there. You put yourself there. You're like, I'm not going to trust people anymore. I'm not going to keep putting myself out there. Like I was sitting here talking to Curtis in part 4, telling him being vulnerable helps you. It's a good thing to be vulnerable, while I was still in denial of the fact that I wasn't being vulnerable myself. I put up such a wall that you guys legitimately did not think it affected me that bad. I had no idea. Please don't forget to comment under this video, you guys. It's really helping me. So it says, my job investigated me for plagiarism, even on YouTube, that has real life implications. And people don't understand this stuff follows us into the real world. I told you, just because I looked like I was okay in those videos didn't mean I was. Even in part 4, where I was laughing at Curtis's awful response to me, I was miserable. Anyway, I said correction, lies and projection. They project all the time. Because whenever someone says something about you, it doesn't apply to you. It is projection. It is either Darvo behavior or it is projection. I'm just letting you know. That's why I can easily point out projection so easily, because the second I know it doesn't apply to me, I'm like, oh, they're projecting. Okay. And then I can see the pattern and prove that they're projecting with whatever they said. You gotta look for it to know. So with all that being said, the point that I'm making is I felt like I had to take responsibility and speak up for this guy, because I am partially responsible for why he reacted the way that he did. I am. Like, he wasn't prepared for it and he did not handle it well. And he somehow managed to do the impossible. He somehow managed to accidentally do Darvo behavior against me. Which is really, that's a hard thing for someone to defend themselves against. You get my point? So that's why I was like, well, I know I can articulate how he did it. And at the same time, I had to defend myself. And the reason why I did this is because this is bigger than both of us. We can save lives. We can save people from what's plaguing YouTube and finally hold commenters accountable, just like how YouTubers are held accountable in many different ways. Yes, we have a little bit of, you know, anonymous nature to our videos, just a little bit. It's not, again, you can't just make another channel and another channel backing yourself up and saying that you're right. In comments, it's so fucking easy to just back up your own slander. I really want to work with Curtis on this. I think that this would be great for us as people to grow. Like, I'm really coming from a genuine place, and I'm not going to stop talking about this. And sadly, I got to bring him up every single time I bring this up. Even if he wasn't a part of this, I'd be having the same conversation about trauma bonding and my channel and all that stuff. He just so happens to be roped into it, so I have to bring him up. So I appreciate the fact that so far, nobody's really gotten on me for doing that. I know people will eventually as I keep talking about this, but I am in a time of self-reflection, so I'm still going to be talking about this while I'm on this like break from doing the hour-long videos and stuff. With all that being said, thank you all for watching. When I do come back, get ready for some videos about trauma and stuff mixed in with my regular content. And if me and Curtis can't work on this together, then I will be talking about cyberstalking in between all that when I get back. Please comment under my videos. Please go check out my comment section of the videos in the Cyberstalker series. I'm putting the playlist in the description. Thank you all for watching. Check out my art channel. If you want to support me, I have an art channel. Check out my social media. You can DM me. You can reach out to me. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.